Welcome to Magnetic Podcasts. Today, we're diving into a story about one of the most famous people in history. You may have heard of her, Princess Diana. She was known for her kindness and her big smile, but she was also known for breaking the rules of what it meant to be a princess. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right. Most people think of princesses as living in castles, wearing fancy dresses, and having a perfect life. But Diana's life was far from perfect. She was a real person with real problems, just like anyone else. What I find most interesting is that she didn't try to hide her struggles. She was open about them, and people loved her for it.
Exactly. It's like she was a princess, but at the same time, she was just like us. People felt they could relate to her, and that's something we don't usually see with royalty. She didn't only stay in her palace and wave at people from a distance. She went out, she talked to people, and she cared about what they were going through.
Oh yes, I remember seeing a video of her hugging a sick child. Most people were afraid to even be near people with certain illnesses back then. But not Diana. She showed everyone that it was okay. She showed love and compassion, even when others didn't.
That's true. She was brave, not in the sense of fighting dragons or going on quests, but in the way she faced difficult issues. She spoke about her struggles with things like eating disorders. It was shocking for many people at the time. A princess admitting that she wasn't perfect? Unbelievable.
Yes, she made it okay for people to talk about these problems. And I think it's important to mention her sense of humor too. She wasn't always serious. People close to her said she was very funny and loved to make others laugh. She was lively and cheerful, a true breath of fresh air.
Do you know what's funny? Even when she was young, she was a bit of a rebel. I read a story about her refusing to wear a dress to a birthday party. Can you imagine that? A little princess running around in pants because she just didn't like dresses.
That's so Diana. She didn't want to be put in a box or be told what to do. And that's why so many people, not just in England, but all over the world, admired her. She was a new kind of princess, one who didn't just look pretty, but also wanted to make the world a better place.
Right? She wasn't interested in just following traditions. She wanted to bring change. Diana worked hard for many causes. She raised awareness about serious issues, like HIV and landmines. She wasn't afraid to go places that most people would avoid. Her actions made people see these issues differently.
And she made a huge difference. I mean, can you imagine how much courage it took to visit hospitals, shake hands, and hug people that others were too afraid to even talk to? She knew her position could help change how people thought and acted, and she used that power for good.
Absolutely. Diana's life shows us that kindness and courage can come from anyone, no matter who they are. But it wasn't just her work or her smile that made her special. It was how she connected with people. She made them feel heard and understood.
That's why people called her the People's Princess. She wasn't like other royals who stayed distant and formal. She connected with everyone, young and old, rich and poor. But even though she was so loved, her life wasn't easy.
That's true. There were problems in her marriage with Prince Charles. She felt alone and misunderstood. It's sad to think about because she was giving so much love to everyone else, but she wasn't always getting the love and support she needed in return.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons she decided to speak up about her life. I remember that famous interview where she said there were 3 people in her marriage, referring to Prince Charles and his relationship with another woman. That shocked everyone.
It did. That's when people started seeing her as more than just a pretty face in the newspapers. She became a voice for those who felt trapped, who felt alone, or who felt unheard. It's like she was saying, if I can go through this and still be strong, so can you.
Exactly. She didn't just want to be seen, she wanted to be heard. But unfortunately, being so open also made her life difficult. The press followed her everywhere, wanting to capture every moment of her life. It became too much.
Yes, the media pressure was intense. They followed her day and night. Can you imagine living like that? Not having a single moment of privacy? It's really heartbreaking to think about. In the end, it was too much, and we all know how that story ended. But I prefer to remember the good she brought into the world.
Same here. We should celebrate the life she lived, not the way it ended. Diana may not be with us anymore, but her spirit and her impact are still very much alive. She inspired so many people to be kinder, to care more, and to speak up.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's what makes her legacy so strong. She showed us that even one person, no matter their struggles or challenges, can make a difference. It's a beautiful reminder that we all have the power to bring a little more love and understanding into the world.
You know, we could talk about Princess Diana all day. There's just so much to say. But one thing is clear. She will always be remembered, not just as a princess, but as a kind, brave, and loving person. That's what truly matters in the end, don't you think?
Absolutely. So, let's keep her message alive. Be kind, be brave, and be true to yourself. And remember, if Princess Diana could be a voice for change, so can we.
That's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining us. Stay kind and keep spreading positivity. See you next time on Magnetic Podcasts.